Have you ever felt that chilling grip of doubt squeeze your spirit so tight you could barely breathe? That invisible weight, just pressing down, making every step forward feel like wading through wet concrete? Imagine a storm, not of rain and thunder, but one of those relentless, soul-crushing uncertainties, a tempest raging inside, leaving you feeling broken, lost, and honestly, on the verge of giving up on everything you once held dear. What if I told you that the key to quieting that storm, to forging a faith that truly cannot be shattered, was hidden in words you've forgotten, or maybe, never even knew existed? Today, we're going to walk alongside someone. Let's call her Eleanor. Now, her story isn't unique because of the pain in it. So many of us know pain, but it's incredibly powerful because of her triumph. Eleanor wasn't just having a bad day or a tough week. No, she was fighting a daily, silent war against a crippling doubt that had become her constant shadow. Life, with its unpredictable and often harsh blows, had battered her spirit, again and again. Each disappointment, every setback, each prayer that felt like it went unanswered. It was like another crack in the very foundation of her belief, until the whole thing felt like it was about to crumble. Her resilience was worn so thin, and her hope was like a tiny, flickering ember, just about to be snuffed out by the winds of despair. She walked through her days with a heart heavy with unspoken fears, a smile that rarely reached her eyes, her connection to any real joy or peace just severed by the relentless noise of her inner turmoil. The vibrant colors of her world? They'd faded to muted grays, and the path ahead seemed lost in an impenetrable fog. Eleanor always thought of herself as a person of faith, or at least, she really wanted to be. She'd grown up with stories of resilience, of divine guidance, of a strength you could find beyond yourself. But her actual adult life? It felt like a cruel joke in comparison. Challenges just kept piling up, a career that stalled, relationships that fractured, dreams that seemed to sour into regrets. And with every hit, that voice of doubt got louder, more poisonous. It whispered that she wasn't good enough, that her efforts were pointless, that maybe this faith she was clinging to was just a childish fantasy. The storms weren't just outside, they were raging inside her, a whirlwind of anxiety and fear. She'd lie awake at night, and the silence of her room would just amplify the racket in her mind. What if I fail again? What if things never get better? What if I'm truly alone in this? These questions became her unwelcome bedtime companions, chipping away at her confidence, her peace, and her ability to see any light at the end of the tunnel. Her prayers felt like they were hitting a brass ceiling, unanswered, unheard. That beautiful tapestry of belief she once cherished was unraveling, thread by painful thread. She found herself constantly comparing her struggles to the seemingly effortless lives of others, a habit that only made her feel more inadequate and isolated. The joy she once found in simple things? Gone. Replaced by a gnawing emptiness. Life felt less like a journey of discovery and more like an endurance test she was pretty sure she was failing. Each morning was a battle just to get out of bed, to face a world that felt completely indifferent to her suffering. The shield of her faith, once so strong, was now full of holes, offering very little protection against the constant barrage of negativity. Then, one particularly bleak afternoon, while she was clearing out the attic of her late grandmother's house, a place filled with memories, both sweet and sorrowful, Eleanor stumbled upon something unexpected. Tucked away in a dusty, leather-bound journal, its pages yellowed and brittle with age, was a list. It wasn't a list of chores or forgotten errands. It was a list of words, phrases, declarations. Forgotten affirmations. Her grandmother had titled it in elegant, fading script. Eleanor paused, her fingers tracing the delicate handwriting. Her grandmother had been a woman of quiet strength, someone who had weathered her own share of life's storms with a grace and resilience that Eleanor had always admired but felt she could never replicate. Could these simple words, penned decades ago, possibly hold any relevance to her modern-day despair? Skepticism wrestled with a tiny, almost imperceptible flicker of curiosity. It felt like a whisper from the past, a gentle nudge from a beloved ancestor. The journal itself smelled of time and forgotten things, a poignant reminder of the legacy of faith her grandmother had tried to pass on. Eleanor almost dismissed it, tempted to just put it back in the dusty box. The problem she faced felt too big, too complicated for mere words on a page. Yet, something held her back. Maybe it was the memory of her grandmother's unwavering calm in the face of adversity, a calm that now seemed almost mythical. Or perhaps it was a deeper, unacknowledged yearning for any lifeline, however fragile it might appear. With a sigh that carried the weight of her weariness, she decided to take the journal home, tucking it into her bag, a forgotten relic from a time gone by, carrying who knew what potential. Back in the quiet of her own home, the journal lay on her coffee table for days, like an unopened invitation. That crippling doubt, her constant companion, just scoffed at the idea. Words? Seriously? How can mere words change the unyielding reality of your struggles? It sneered. Yet, the image of her grandmother's serene face, the memory of her quiet strength, kept nudging Eleanor. One evening, when the silence of her apartment felt particularly heavy and the familiar ache of despair threatened to swallow her whole, she finally picked up the journal. She read the affirmations aloud, her voice barely a whisper at first, hesitant, unsure. The words felt foreign on her tongue, almost like clothes that didn't quite fit. Some were phrases of gratitude, others declarations of strength. Many were direct appeals to a higher power, steeped in a profound sense of trust. They spoke of an inherent worthiness, of divine protection, of a love that was unconditional and always there. Her logical mind, conditioned by years of disappointment, immediately pushed back. This is foolishness, it argued. Positive thinking can't pay the bills or mend a broken heart. But a small, desperate part of her, the part that hadn't completely given up, clung to the possibility. She decided, with a resolve that surprised even herself, to try. I mean, what did she have to lose? She began to weave them into her day, a bit awkwardly at first. She'd repeat them during her morning coffee, sometimes writing one or two on a sticky note and placing it where she'd see it often, on her bathroom mirror, the dashboard of her car, her computer monitor. It felt mechanical, like going through the motions. There were no sudden epiphanies, no immediate lifting of the darkness. The storm still raged. Doubt still whispered its venomous lies. But slowly, almost without her noticing, something began to shift. It wasn't a dramatic, overnight transformation, more like a subtle recalibration of her inner world. She noticed that when a wave of anxiety would hit, one of the affirmations would sometimes pop into her mind, uninvited, like a gentle countercurrent. I am surrounded by goodness and peace, she might recall, even if her immediate circumstances screamed the exact opposite. Or, God goes before me in whatever this day holds. The words weren't magic spells, instantly banishing her problems. Instead, they began to act like tiny anchors, holding her steady, even if just for a moment, against the turbulent seas of her emotions. They started to create a little space between her and her overwhelming feelings, a space where a different perspective could begin to take root. It was the first hint that these forgotten words might be more than just ink on paper, they might be seeds of an inner strength she had long forgotten she possessed. She found herself looking forward to her quiet moments with the journal, not as a chore, but as a brief respite, a gentle tending to a parched part of her soul. Months passed. Eleanor's practice of reciting the affirmations became less of a forced discipline and more of a quiet ritual, a source of solace and a subtle, growing strength. The real change wasn't that the storm stopped coming, life continued to throw its challenges, its unexpected squalls. The true transformation was in Eleanor herself, in how she began to meet them. The turning point, the moment the true power of these words became undeniable, wasn't some grand, dramatic event. It was a series of smaller, internal victories that somehow came together to create something profound. One day, she received news that previously would have sent her spiraling into a week-long abyss of anxiety and self-blame. A significant project she'd poured her heart into was unexpectedly canceled. That familiar pang of disappointment hit, and the old voices of doubt immediately started their chorus. See? Nothing ever works out for you. You're a failure. But this time, something was different. Before the despair could fully take root, one of the affirmations echoed in her mind, clear and strong: I am resilient and can overcome any challenge. It wasn't just a phrase she was repeating, it was a truth she was beginning to live. She took a deep breath. Instead of collapsing into the old patterns of defeat, she found herself thinking, okay, this is a setback. It's painful. But it doesn't define me. What can I learn from this? What's the next step? It was as if the affirmations had been weaving an invisible shield around her spirit, piece by piece, day by day. This shield didn't deflect all of life's arrows. Pain was still pain, disappointment still stung, but they no longer pierced her to the core, no longer shattered her resolve. The words had become a filter, changing how she processed her experiences, how she spoke to herself. She noticed she was sleeping better. The nightly battles with anxiety were less frequent, less intense. There was a newfound calmness about her, a quiet confidence that just wasn't there before. Friends began to comment on it. "You seem different, Eleanor," one said. "Lighter. More at peace." The unshakable belief her grandmother had written about wasn't about a life free of problems. It was about an inner knowing, a deep-seated trust that she was held, guided, and capable, no matter what was happening around her. It was a faith not in the absence of darkness, but in the ever-presence of a light within and beyond her, a light the affirmations had helped her reconnect with and nurture. The world hadn't changed, but her way of navigating it had been utterly transformed. That crippling doubt still occasionally tried to whisper, but its voice was fainter now, easily drowned out by the chorus of truth she had so carefully cultivated. She had found her strength, not by just wishing for it, but by speaking it into existence, day by day. Eleanor's journey is such a powerful example of the incredible power that lies in words spoken with intention, with belief, with genuine faith. These weren't just random sentences, they were declarations that tapped into universal truths, principles that can renew the mind and truly strengthen the spirit. So now, I want to share some of these secret words with you, affirmations like the ones Eleanor discovered, ones that can help you forge your own unbreakable faith. Remember, the real magic of affirmations is in repeating them consistently and with your whole heart. It's about planting these seeds in the garden of your mind and nurturing them daily. Choose the ones that really speak to you, write them down, say them aloud, meditate on them. Let them become the soundtrack to your inner world. We can group these powerful words into a few areas to help build that unshakable faith. These words are all about anchoring your faith in something bigger than yourself, building a deep sense of trust in divine guidance and love. This is about knowing, deep down, that you're not alone, that there's a benevolent force, a higher power, God, the universe that is with you and for you. God is for me, and not against me. His love is an unbreakable bond. This one's fantastic for dismantling that fear that you're facing your struggles alone or that you're being punished. It reminds you of a core truth: you're loved and supported. Say it when you feel overwhelmed. I choose faith over fear, knowing I am guided and protected in every moment. This is an active choice, isn't it? Fear will always try to sneak in, but faith is that conscious decision to trust in a bigger plan, even when the path isn't clear. Repeat this when anxiety tries to grab hold. I surrender my anxieties and expectations, trusting in a timing and wisdom greater than my own. So much of our struggle comes from trying to control everything. This affirmation is about letting go, acknowledging that some things are beyond our control, and finding peace in that surrender. The Lord is my helper, I will not fear what man can do to me. This is a powerful courage builder, reminding you that your ultimate security comes from a divine source, not from what others think or what happens around you. My faith is my victory that overcomes the world. I am rooted in an unshakable kingdom. This flips your perspective from being a victim of circumstances to being victorious through faith. It connects your personal faith to something much bigger and eternal. These affirmations focus on waking up that incredible strength and resilience that's already inside you, supercharged by your faith. They're about recognizing your ability to endure, to grow, and to overcome. I am strong in the Lord and in the power of His might. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. This is a classic for a reason. It draws strength directly from a divine source, saying your abilities are magnified through faith. I am resilient. I embrace challenges as opportunities for growth and to witness divine strength in my life. This reframes difficulties. Instead of just being roadblocks, they become catalysts for getting stronger and seeing your faith in action. My mind is renewed daily. I release negative thought patterns and embrace a mindset of hope and positivity. This highlights how affirmations can literally change your thinking. It's about actively creating a mental space where faith can thrive. I am not defined by my past or my mistakes. I am who God says I am, forgiven, redeemed, and made new. This is so important for overcoming self-doubt tied to past experiences. It's a declaration of your true identity and faith, one that isn't dependent on your imperfections. I have the courage to face whatever life brings my way, knowing I am equipped and never abandoned. This helps you build a proactive stance against fear. It's an affirmation of your God-given courage and the promise of constant support. These words help you really get, deep down, your intrinsic worth and the unique purpose you carry. Doubt loves to attack our sense of value, and these affirmations are a powerful defense. I am worthy of love, peace, and all good things, not because of what I do, but because of whose I am. This tackles the performance trap. Your worthiness isn't something you earn, it's inherent, a gift. I am here for a purpose, my life has meaning, and I am guided towards fulfilling my divine potential. This counters those feelings of aimlessness or insignificance. It asserts that your existence is intentional and part of a bigger, meaningful design. I am a magnet for positive energy and abundant blessings. I choose to see the good in my life and the world around me. This cultivates an attitude of expectancy and gratitude. It helps you focus on the positive and reinforces belief in a generous source of blessings. I am enough, just as I am. I embrace my unique talents and gifts and offer them with confidence. This is a powerful antidote to the comparison game and feelings of inadequacy. A simple yet profound statement of self-acceptance. I am a channel for divine love and light. I am called to bless others and make a positive impact in the world. This expands your focus beyond yourself. Recognizing your role in a larger give and take can profoundly strengthen your sense of purpose and, in turn, your faith. Take these words, truly make them your own. Let them seep into your subconscious, rewriting those old scripts of doubt and fear. As Eleanor discovered, these are not just words, they are keys. Keys that can unlock a reservoir of strength you never knew you had, forging a faith that is truly, deeply, unbreakably yours. This isn't about denying reality, but about anchoring yourself in a deeper reality, a spiritual truth that goes beyond any circumstance. Eleanor's story, and the secret words she rediscovered, really are an invitation to each one of us. An invitation to look at the narratives we let play in our minds, the stories that shape our belief, or our doubt. Crippling doubt is a storm, absolutely. But like all storms, it eventually passes. The question is, what will you be left standing on when it does? These affirmations are so much more than just positive self-talk. When they're rooted in faith, they become declarations of spiritual truth, aligning your heart and mind with unwavering divine promises and power. They are your tools to actively take part in renewing your mind, to build that shield of unshakable belief, just like Eleanor did. So, I encourage you, don't just listen to these words. Engage with them. Which of these affirmations really resonated with you today? Take a moment, maybe even pause this, and write it down. Put it somewhere you'll see it every single day. Let it be the first thing you see in the morning and the last thing you reflect on at night. Start small, just like Eleanor did. Choose one or two affirmations that speak to where you are right now. Repeat them consistently, with feeling, with a willingness to believe, even if that belief feels tiny at first. Remember, faith, even as small as a mustard seed, can move mountains. Your consistent, faith-filled words can move the mountains of doubt within you. And please, share your journey. In the comments below, tell us which affirmation you're choosing to start with. Or perhaps you have your own secret words of faith that have helped you. Sharing our stories and our sources of strength creates such a powerful community of support and encouragement. We are, after all, in this together. If this message has touched your heart, if you feel that spark of hope, that desire to cultivate an unbreakable faith, then please like this video and subscribe for more content designed to uplift and empower you on your journey. And share it with someone you know might be battling their own storms of doubt. You never know how profoundly you might impact their life. Remember, the power to unlock unbreakable faith is already within you, just waiting to be activated by the words you choose to speak, believe, and live by. Start today. Start now. And watch as your belief, once a fragile seedling, grows into a mighty, unshakable oak, firmly rooted, no matter what storms may come. Your transformation, like Eleanor's, isn't just possible, it's waiting for you.